Hey everyone, it's Simon here, just with a quick video on showing you some tools you can use to assess key levels and targets for a stock. So we've got everybody's favorite stock here, NVIDIA. A lot of people, when looking at a chart like this, will draw trend lines and say, well, if we come back to the trend line, that's the support level. Now, trend lines can be great, but I don't use them a lot because there's a lot of subjectivity in terms of where they're drawn. Now, this isn't a great trend line because we've only really got 2 points of contact. This would suggest that NVIDIA would have to hold a level of around 840. But you could just as easily draw a trend line here, for example, because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points of contact. Remember, the more points of contact you got on a trend line, the better quality trend line it is, but this trend line was already breached here. So it calls into question how valid it is. If we do get another trend line break, is it something to worry about? One tool that you can use to take some of the subjectivity out of drawing trend lines is the linear regression tool. So regression trend, and what we're doing, we're looking for where this kind of steep uptrend begins, which is right about there, and we just draw to the end of the price action. And this red line in the middle is a regression line. That's a line of best fit, and the blue lines above and below are 2 standard deviation moves. So in theory, these 2 parallel lines should capture approximately 95% of the price action. It looks like they're roughly doing that, maybe slightly less. Of course, markets aren't in reality normally distributed. But there's the idea. You've now got a lower kind of trend line or trend channel here, which has been drawn with a little more objectivity because it's just 2 standard deviations below the regression line or the line of best fit. We did have one breach there, and it was quickly recouped after earnings, and you can see it's tagging it as a potential support line right now. Big question everybody keeps asking is, can NVIDIA get to $1,000? And I think the answer is a resounding yes, and I'll show you why. But of course, there are always caveats. Let's just have a look at some Fibonacci extension levels. So if we draw some Fibonacci's from that swing high to that swing low, you can see the 1.272 extension is at $1,010. Let's round that to $1,000. So that's if we clear this previous all-time high, that becomes the next target. And I'll just show you how these work. If we just look back at this example here, if we draw extension targets from there to there, you can see how, and I'll just zoom in a little bit. So what we're saying is, if we breach this the previous all-time high, the 1.272 extension is the next target, and then the 1.618 becomes the target after that. And you can see how price was kind of sandwiched between these 2 levels for a couple of days, and then we got up and we wicked the 3.618 extension, came back, the 1.618 here started acting as support, and you can see how the 3.618 and the 1.618 have really defined price action since then. All right, if we go back a little bit further, I'm just going to zoom out here, and let's use this major swing here. And I'm just going to draw from that swing high to this swing low. And you can see how, again, the argument here is, well, if we take out this swing high, if we're looking at the price chart around here, then the 1.272 becomes the target. And we hit that target, pulled back. Once we got back above it, it started acting as support rather than resistance. And then the 1.618 line became resistance. And you can see how these 2 price levels really define price action for NVIDIA for about 9 months. Powerful stuff, right? And then if you have a look at the 2.618 target, well, that sort of became a bit of a congestion zone. It wasn't nearly as relevant as these 2. But have a look at where price is now. 3.618 extension of this major swing is proving to be a level of resistance. So let's just zoom in on that area again. You can see how this 3.618 target price is struggling to get through it. So the way I would interpret this is, if NVIDIA is going to get to that magical $1,000 level, we would need to see 2 consecutive closes above this 3.618 target, which is around about $970 and change. So that's how you can use a couple of simple tools to make an assessment of both support and resistance levels and future price targets. I hope it helps, and I wish you good trading. Thank you.